Hello, everyone. Welcome to the preview of the Jamaica Tallawahs versus the Guyana Amazon Warriors in match number 11 of the 2023 CPL. Joining me to preview the match is Bobby Brown and Andre Douglas. But before I tell you who's going to replace Chandra Paul Emerald in the Guyana Amazon Warriors team, and if Jamaica will be playing the same 11, we are going to look at the two matches that played yesterday. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Yeah. Morning, Carlton, and morning to the viewers all over the world.
Okay. Yesterday, in the first match, the St. Lucia Kings, they beat the Trinbago Knight Riders quite comfortable. The St. Lucia Kings batted first and I think posted 157. What I don't remember the score they post. I think it's 157, but the Trinbago Knight Riders replied with 113. Andre, what are your views on this match? What stood out, or which player stood out to you in this match?
Well, at first and foremost, I thought that St. Lucia played pretty well. I mean, the captain Duplessis, he played a very, very good innings. You know, he set the tone for the entire innings for St. Lucia, and they in their turn at bat, the Trinbago Knight Riders, they were muzzled somewhat by the spin of Kari Pierre. You know, I thought he bowled pretty well, and the Trinbago Knight Riders just, they fell short, woefully short. So all in all, I thought that it was a good team effort by the St. Lucia team, and St. Lucia team. I think that they have a pretty balanced team, and they are playing. I think the captaincy of Faf Duplessis is getting them. They're really gelling together, and they're playing some good cricket.
Bobby,
So, the standout performers would have been Faf Duplessis and Kari Pierre.
Bobby, we saw where Carripier got 4 wickets for 20 runs, and he is a Trinidadian. How do you think he feels knowing getting one over his fellow Trinidadians?
I think he feels great to dominate in a match against
Okay.
his former team. Yes, the
Right.
screen. Yeah. Yes. So I
Okay.
think Trinidad team is a team full of retirees with big egos. So nobody took charge of the match. Everybody was just flaring. I don't know what Trinidad was doing yesterday.
All right. This Trinbago Knight Riders team, they have 9 players in that starting 11 yesterday over the age of 30, and 6 players who are closer to 40 than 30. Do you think that this is a whole team and they are destined to finish last again this year? Do you think this team is just too old, Bobby?
I think so. I think this team is just too old. They don't show enough fight. They don't show like that they really wanted to win. They show like, yeah, you know who I am. I'm a legend. Or, I just did not see the fight in them.
Yeah. Andre, what do you think? Do you think this team is too old?
Well, yeah, for the most part, I think, most of them would have been over the hill at this point in their careers, right? And when you look at the likes of Dwayne Bravo, although he still bowls, pretty good medium pace in terms of his batting, in the likes of Narayan, and when it comes to Pollard, he's a gamble. He's a really hit and miss type of player these days. So if they don't get Puran to do well, I think they might be in some trouble. The likes of Puran and Andre Russell to a lesser extent. I think they will be heavily dependent on those two to get them the majority of runs, because even Guptill doesn't seem to be the you know type of player that he once was. So, not only in terms of the West Indian players, but also in terms of the overseas players. And a thing to note is that there are a few overseas players that were expected to play for them this season they're no longer available. So I think that might affect them also. The likes of Riley Rousseau and the Afghanistan bowlers, they were supposed to come and make an impact, and they're no longer available. So I think without them being available, and those would be the younger members of the team, it's going to impact them a great deal.
Bobby, we saw Andre mentioned just now about Guptill not performing as well as he used to, but Guptill is 39. So we do not expect a 39-year-old man to be performing as well as he used to. Now, do you think that the TKI should be making changes to their team this evening? Because they played against the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriot again this evening. Do you think they should be making some changes, Bobby?
I think they should make some changes. I think they should bring in Jaden Seals and maybe another youngster. They should make some changes and fresh up the squad, bring some enthusiasm to the squad.
Sticking with you, Bobby. We saw where Duplessis played his last match yesterday for the St. Lucia Kings. He will be going away to do a surgery. How do you think that this absence of Duplessis will affect the team, especially when it comes to his leadership? Now you can get a batsman to replace him. I heard that Colin Munro is going to come to replace him. I have not yet confirmed it, but I heard Colin Munro will replace him. So Colin Munro may be able to provide the runs, but who replace him when it comes to that type of leadership that he offers?
That's the same thing I'm thinking. I don't know if they're gonna go with Johnson Charles or maybe Ruston Chase, or even Evans. I'm thinking who is the next captain, and I don't really see any number one candidate sticking out.
Yes, and that's the question I'm asking, because Duplessis was not just a captain for that St. Lucia Kings team. He was really the leader. He and Sammy have this dynamic leadership of this team. Andre, who do you think is possible to replace Duplessis?
I think it's either between Johnson Charles and Ruston Chase. I don't see anybody else really apart from those two at this point in time. And Duplessis will be very much missed, because I think he's a very good captain, not only very strategic in terms of his field placement and what he does on the field, but just in terms of his ability to get the best out of his players. So he has a good rapport with them, both on and off the field. So Duplessis will be very much missed inside that dressing room of the St. Lucia Kings.
Okay. All right. In the second match last night, we saw where a team breached 200 for the first time, all being chasing 197. So the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriot batted first. They made 197 for 6, with Andre Fletcher making 51 from 38. And also, I think, contributing 38 from 12 was Carbon Botch, the man who I think is highly overrated. Kwasi Ahmad took 2 for 16, and Naeem Young took 2 for 54. But Barbados chased this down very comfortable. They win with at least, I think, 9 deliveries to spare. So that means they could probably get another 20 runs. What is your view on this match, Bobby? You being a Barbados Royal man, picking them to win this tournament.
This match was a very good match. St. Kitts came out, they made the runs, but I still think they're bowling. They gotta get some more bowling. Their batting did the job this time, but they're bowling. What's his name? O'Shane Thomas. I want to see O'Shane Thomas bowl something other than trying to bounce everybody out. He got a good Yorker. I think he should use that Yorker some more. And then on the Barbados team, up front, Raheem Cornwall was just too good. He gave them a good platform. At one point, St. Kitts was pulling it back, but then Rahman Powell came, and St. Kitts, they have to work on their fielding too. They gave away some easy runs when they had the pressure, and that kind of released it for Barbados, and then he just took it away.
Okay.
Rahman Powell just took the game away.
Thank you, Bobby. Andre, what do you say about the batting of Cornwall? He made 38 from 15 deliveries yesterday. Does he
Yeah.
justify his place in the game despite his lack of mobility in the field?
The thing about Cornwall is that, Cornwall will always Cornwall has a strike rate of over 115 CPL, right? And if he stays here for any length of time, and if he plays the power play, he will give you a lot of runs. So they're thinking that, it's a gamble, with his fitness and all, but they are willing to risk the gamble in terms of Cornwall, because they know that if he stays there, he will always give them a good start. And to be fair to Cornwall, Cornwall played pretty well last season. He had a good he had good opening partnership with Kyle Mayers. So even though he made a big blunder there in the first match with that run out, they're still willing to back Cornwall, knowing that if he stays around, he can provide for you a good platform with the ability to strike it of over 150.
Okay, thank you, Andre. Bobby, how would you rate Powell innings last night?
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Yes.
Okay, that's 67 from 29 deliveries. What make you give him 9 out of 10? What in particular were you so impressed with last night?
His power hitting.
Okay, his power hitting.
Yeah.
You think that
If it was me, in the St. Kitts, I would have just give him some more spins and say hit the spins, but they gave him what he likes, and he took them apart.
Oh, okay. And I'm going to come to that in a few minutes. Naeem Young. Would you have given Naeem Young that last over to bowl? That Naeem Young last 5 deliveries because he never completed the over because he bowled 2 wayside full toss. Would you have given him that last over to bowl, Andre?
Well, I think probably the more experienced bowler would have bowled a last over, but I probably get what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to get the young man to take on some responsibility, because they know that he has ability. So they're trying to give him the responsibility to see how he reacts and, to gain that necessary experience that will be required for future games. So although, probably Holder would have been a better bet, being a more experienced bowler, I do understand, what Powell was trying to do in terms of trying to get Naeem Young to be a more responsible person and to gain the necessary experience.
What do you think about that last over, Bobby?
I would have given him it because he bowled excellent before that last over, and it's just a learning process for him. So he was the better bowler before that last over.
Would you give him it in the next match?
If he bowls 3 good overs, yes, I'll give him again.
Okay. Gentlemen, I want you to react to Evan Lewis' captaincy. I think he has been making a number of blunders. Like on Thursday, we saw where the spinners bowled 5 overs for 35 runs, while the Pacers bowled 15 overs for 159 runs. So I could not understand that. Your Pacers were going at over 10 runs and over, and your spinners were going at just about 7 runs and over. Yet still, the Pacers bowled the majority of the overs. And there are a number of things that we could look at. Even last night, we saw he gave Ashim Med to start the bowling with someone like Cornwall batting. And when Powell comes to the crease, he never gave Ned the ball. Give me your feedback on the captaincy of Evan Lewis. Let's start with Andre and then we come to Bobby.
Yeah, the captaincy of Evan Lewis, leaves a lot to be desired. Frankly, I don't think that Lewis is a captaincy material, to be frank. He doesn't seem to, have that sort of command on the field whenever he's out there. And a lot of tactical errors, can was actually shown up, and a lot of question too regarding the leadership of the whole St. Kitts makeup. It doesn't seem they just don't seem to me that there is strong leadership in the whole St. Kitts makeup, really. So, at this point in time, I don't think Lewis should even last for the season in terms of his captaincy, right? They'd have to probably give someone else. And, not only in terms of the captaincy, but in terms of the whole leadership of the St. Kitts, as I said, makeup, is that you see they seem to be dropping and changing players. They don't know who the best starting 11 is, right? So there's a lot of questions to be answered in the St. Kitts makeup.
Bobby, what's your view on his captaincy?
I don't think he's a good captain. I don't think he can manage the role of the captaincy. I think he just does everything premeditated because, like you said, even when the Pacers were going for runs, he did not change it. I think he just came out and said, "Okay, I'm gonna bowl these type of bowlers," and he just goes out there and it happens. And when you're like a good captain, you can make changes in your approach because everybody goes in a match with a certain approach, but then when it's not working as a good captain, you can change it. But I don't think he can change
Yes,
it.
okay. I'm gonna go through a few of the comments now. And good morning, everyone in the chat. Sheldon is saying that I'm late again. Sheldon, I must apologize, but it was Andre. Andre went out last night and got drunk and wake up late this morning. That's why we are late. Good morning, Mr. Casanova. Dennis Weeks is saying, morning panel. I feel who wins this match will be the CPL winner decider. I'm getting that feelings too, Dennis Week. Good morning, Cricket Forum and guests. Good morning, Dennis Barnaby. How are you? Sheldon, Colin Monroe is past his best and he cannot bring the runs that Faf brought. Well, I got that point, Sheldon. But my biggest concern are what I think about the St. Lucia Kings. It's not necessarily the runs, but as I said, it's the leadership that going to be missing. Good morning, Maricia. How are you? Welcome to the show. Faf is the glue that holds them together. With his absence of Faf, maybe Charles or Chase will lead as captain. Yes, I think maybe Chase is going to get it. Good morning. Good morning, Larouk. Kimani Larouk. Good morning and welcome to the show. Spin is king in the CPL. Whoever bowls 2 or more spinners in each game will win. Tyrell. Okay, well, Tyrell is generalizing there. Blessed morning, Shooks. Blessed morning. And Sheldon is saying, Lewis won the 60 last year as captain. Short memories, anyone? But Sheldon, that's the difference that I think that I am able to change with the facts. And my grandmother told me a long time ago that a wise person is one who change with the data and with the facts. Credit to Evan Lewis for winning the 60s last year. But that was last year. His performance as a captain this year has been poor. And I have to say it because that is the facts right now as it stands, Sheldon. And so I have that ability, that maturity to change with the facts. So despite what happened last year, it is now, his performance as a captain, now Sheldon is very poor. What do you say about that, gentlemen? Should we stick to the fact that Lewis won the 60s last year and say that he's a good captain when he's making some poor decisions this year?
I think the 60 is just a different caliber, other than the CPL. So when I see the 60, it reminds me of the Canada G20 and those other leagues.
So okay, so you don't have the 60s at the same high standard as the CPL. Okay, so the match this evening between the Guyana Amazon Warriors and the Jamaica Tallawahs is the biggest match for this community, for the audience. 35% of the members of this community are either from Jamaica or from Guyana. So this match is really the derby this morning. Now, looking at this match, in my opinion, I think I know the winner. But I'm going to hear from my guests first and what they think about the match coming up. What are your views on this match coming up, Andre? What are your opinions? What are your views? How do you see it?
I think it should be a very, very competitive match, because as far as I'm concerned, it's a two teams with the two best or two most balanced bowling attack we have right here, right? They have good. They both have good good spin bowlers for one. Because in terms of the Guyana Amazon Warriors, Tahir and Moti are really two good bowlers. Tahir is a legendary bowler. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Jamaica Tallawahs play both Tahir and Moti, because I think that Tahir and Moti will give them some problem. And we also, in terms of the Jamaica Tallawahs, they have both good medium pace bowler and good spin in terms of Chris Green, and in terms of the Imad Wazim. So I think they're pretty much balanced in terms of the bowling. But where I think that the Guyana Amazon Warriors might have the edge, I think their batting is a little bit deeper than that of the Jamaica Tallawahs. They bat right down to number 9. The likes of Paul, Odin Simit, Romar Shepherd, even Moti is pretty competent. So I think that it is if any team is supposed to be any team that's going to win today is going to be the batting will actually determine the winner, because I think in terms of the bowling they're pretty much balanced. So we'll have to wait and see which team bats better today. Whichever team bats better should come out on top.
Bobby, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a high scoring match, and I think which team actually can bowl the best will win. Jamaica would have to watch Moti, because he looked in terrific form right now. So I think any team that can restrict the other team is going to win. Like Andre said, Guyana have a very long batting lineup. So this game is gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, continue.
Yeah, you can go.
Would you make any changes to the Jamaica Tallawahs team, Bobby?
Yeah.
What would you?
My changes?
Yeah, to the Jamaica Tallawahs team.
I want to see Blackwood maybe playing instead of Reefer. It's gonna be hard to drop Brooks, because he had a good game the last time. I think he was the second leading run scorer for Jamaica last year. So I would like to see Blackwood
in place of Reefer
or Django, but I don't think they're gonna drop Django.
No, well, Amir Django is the keeper, and
Yeah,
I think that he's the only wicket keeper in the squad. I cannot think of a reserve wicket keeper in the Jamaica Tallawahs squad.
Brooks, I think they say Brooks can keep.
Brooks can keep, but he's not. You don't want trust Brooks to take those catches. Brooks can probably keep when the ball doesn't hedge, but when it hedges, it's a different thing. So I wouldn't really trust Brooks in that category. Would you make any changes, Andre, to the Guyana Amazon Warriors team? What would be your team for the Guyana Amazon Warriors?
I mean, the Amazon Warriors team should pretty much remain the same as the last game. They've only played the one game thus far, so I don't see any changes where the Guyana Amazon Warriors are concerned. As it relates to the Jamaica Tallawahs, yeah, well, Blackwood, yeah, he could come in for a Reefer, but I probably doubt that they would do that, being that they have won all the matches thus far, and Reefer didn't even get a knock the last time around. But well, it's neither here nor there too much whether they play Blackwood or Reefer, to be honest. But I'll see what we'll just have to wait and see what they actually do.
Okay, my opinion on the Guyana Amazon Warriors team, I will take out Chandapal Emraj and play Kevin Sinclair, and I will ask Kevin Sinclair to open the innings. We must not forget that in 2018, at the Under-19 World Cup, Kevin Sinclair opened the innings with Kirk McKenzie for the West Indies Under-19 team. So he's capable of doing that. And in this year, in this year regional 4-day cricket tournament, we saw where Kevin Sinclair played some very good innings and helped the Guyana Harpy Eagles to victory in the regional 4-day tournament. I would put Kevin Sinclair at top of the order and replace Chandapal Emraj with him. The other thing I want to say about Kevin Sinclair and those persons who are very close to him, those persons who are guiding him, his managers, his agent, they must decide that Kevin Sinclair should go to a team that will ensure that he plays in the CPL. He cannot expect to get West Indies game when he's not played in the CPL. Desmond Haynes and the other selectors are not going to pick anyone who is not playing in the CPL to play for West Indies in T20 international cricket. So I'd encourage Sinclair to go to the management of the Guyana Amazon Warriors and tell them that he needs to play. If he's not being played, then next year he should definitely find a CPL team that he'll be certain to be in the 11. What are your views, Bobby, on that?
100%. If you want to play for West Indies, you have to play in their domestic competition. You're not gonna get into West Indies without playing in their domestic competition. So I think St. Kitts is a good team for him. Maybe he should try go there next year.
Okay, Andre, if you win the toss this morning, what would you do?
Well, if the pitch still, because the pitch in St. Lucia, it seems as if it's pretty good for batting for the most part. So I would probably chase. I would probably chase. Just put my opponent in and see if I can restrict them for as low as a score as possible and try to get the runs.
Bobby, if you win the toss, what would you do?
I would chase also.
You would chase. Okay.
And try to take advantage of the early moisture.
Yes, you'll try to, if there's any, you'll try to take advantage of the early moistures. Just let me see let's react to some of the comments in the chat. Christopher Bristol is here as a Guyanese, What happened to the 60s this year? Well, the 60s this year will still play. I think it will start in Barbados, which is the next leg of the 60s won't play. The women tournament will start in Barbados, I think. So today is the final day of matches in St. Kitts. After today, they move on to Barbados, and I think that's where the 60s, not the 60s, the women tournament will start. To the best of, is the 60s playing this year, gentlemen? No, I've not heard anything about it.
No, I've not heard anything where that is concerned.
Not heard anything about it. So it will not, but the women tournament will start next week. So let's take the comment from Daniel Melgar. Jamaica win, please answer this. I soon answer it. I will be answering that question very soon. Daniel, the game didn't play as yet. No, the game will start in just about 45 minutes time. Morning, Mr. Brown. I hope you're ready for licks today from the Amazon. Do you agree with that? Who's going to win this match, Andre?
It's going to be a very, very close one. It's too close to call. It's too close to call, for me. But I am for some reason I think I'm giving the edge to Guyana because I think they're a little bit deeper than the Tallawahs.
Bobby, who do you think is going to win?
A tough one. But I feel like with the batting, Guyana have the edge. If they can get King out, because King is in just terrific form.
Andre Dennis Week is agreeing with you. He said that you are correct, that the leadership at St. Kitts and Nevis Patriot is from the head goes right down. So he's agreeing with you. Colin Goodridge, good to see you. Sean Williams should be under the captaincy for the St. Lucian Kings team. Okay, so that's another opinion. They're saying that Sean Williams should be added under the captaincy. When you pick a team to win cricket, it has to look like a winning team on paper. When you look at St. Kitts, who are the match winners on paper for this team? Is that something you want? Right? Who are the match winners for St. Kitts and Nevis Spade Chat, Bobby?
Evan Lewis, I think Evan Lewis is the only match winner I see on paper right now.
Um,
And yeah,
Andre, what about the much talk about? What about the much talk about Shafrin Rutherford, Andre?
Um, well, yeah, Sheffrin Rutherford can indeed win your matches because he has done that. You know, he has done that in the Canadian League, and I think he has also won matches in some other leagues, right? But I, for me, he's far too inconsistent a player. You know, sometimes I think that he tries to go a little bit too early. You know, he gets a little bit, you know, overly zealous in terms of his approach. So although he's a match winner, you know, on his day, is for me is far too inconsistent, and he needs to, you know, a bit more responsible in his batting.
What I said about Rutherford, and I say it in a video, and that video is clipped up and it's on my own page. And I was challenged about this, but I said Rutherford in the top 5 leagues, in the top 5 T20 franchise leagues, like the Indian Premier League, the CPL, the Pakistan Super League, the SA20, and the Big Bash League. I consider those the 5 top leagues. He has not performed in those leagues. And so while he might perform in the GPL and other leagues, he doesn't perform in that top leagues. And I would want to see him perform this year at the CPL before I even consider him for West Indies duty. Agree with me, Bobby?
I agree. I always say he only performs in B leagues. I want to see him do it in the top leagues.
Okay.
Because even in the top leagues, in T20I, it's even more harder. So if you cannot perform in the top leagues, I don't think you're gonna perform in internationals.
Mr. Casanova is saying that Alex Ayers, from videos that he's seen, he thinks that Alex Ayers is here. And so if Alex Ayers is here, then he should get in ahead of Reefer. I have no doubt about that. And
Yeah,
Jake Glasgow is saying that he never saw the point of the 60s. And that could be true. Leary Williams is bigging up the family. Good morning, Leary Williams. Well, Runkus, good morning, family. Runkus is here. How are you doing, Runkus? Respect. Rutherford is only good in C leagues like Canada T20. That's what Mr. Casanova one is agreeing with us.
He said C.
I
I
think
said
in
B.
C
He said
League.
C.
yes, we had
Yeah,
said B leagues, but Mr. Casanova had put it to C league. Okay, Mr. Casanova, thank you for the laugh. It's good for the laugh. I think the Patriots will come back later in the season. They are not getting what they expected from their bowling. So Sheldon is saying that he think but they have played a number of matches so far. I think they have played 5 matches. Hali Ada is joining us from Australia. What's your view on Salman Ershad performance on his skills? I said it, I think, 2 days ago that he is a T20 specialist and he was absolutely recruited by Mohamed Amir to be in this team. What I said then is that Miguel Pretorius, who he replaced in the Jamaica Tallawahs squad, Ambrose and Mohamed Amir, they didn't take kindly to Miguel Pretorius pitching up the ball and just floating up the ball. And there were a lot of arguments last year with Mohamed Amir, Curtly Ambrose, and Miguel Pretorius. And so Ershad Salman have been specifically recruited to replace Miguel Pretorius in this team. And I love his bowling so far. He's one of the leading wicket takers in the tournament so far. What do you
yeah,
think about the skill set Ershad Salman, gentlemen?
yeah. Yeah. Urshad Salman, I think is a very good, very good bowler. And if you look at the Pakistanis always tend to produce some really outstanding bowlers, and they do pretty well in white ball cricket because they have the ability to bowl the Yorkers. That's one country where you can depend on the bowlers to bowl Yorker after Yorker. They are the Yorker specialists, so to speak. So they always produce, you know, good white ball bowlers. They're excellent at bowling in the depth. of the in white ball cricket. So there's no surprise to me at all that they continue to do this, because they seem to have the formula where this is concerned in white ball cricket of finding good medium fast bowlers to do a job for them.
Bobby, what's your opinions on the skill of Salman?
Really good, really good. The same thing Andre said. Sometimes I say Pakistan take over from the West Indies in terms of the fast bowling, because they have some really good fast bowlers who can bowl Yorkers after Yorkers and bowl good length delivery. And I see he get a lot of bounce. And that's how I want to see somebody like Ocean Thomas bowls, not just try to bowl bouncers all the time.
Okay. Now, before I tell you who's going to win the match this morning, because I know you two guys have given your opinion already, before I tell you who's going to win, I'm just going to look at the points table. So after last night's matches, going into today's matches, the St. Lucia Kings, they're on 6 points from 5 matches. The Jamaica Tallawahs are on 5 points from 3 matches. The Guyana Amazon Warriors have 3 points from 2 matches. The Barbados Royal 3 points from 3 matches. St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots have 2 points from 5 matches. And the Trinbago Knight Riders have 1 point from 2 matches. Question, gentlemen. The match tonight between the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots and the Trinbago Knight Riders, is this a must-win match for both teams?
Yeah,
I don't think it's a must-win for the Trinbago. You want to go ahead?
No, you can finish.
Oh yes, yeah. I don't think it's a must-win for the Trinbago Knight Riders, because they're gonna go to Trinidad, and I think they always tend to perform well in Trinidad, and they have not lost as many matches as the St. Kitts, but I think it's do or die for St. Kitts tonight. If they lose tonight, I think they're pretty much out of it. So it's do or die time for them.
Bobby?
Yeah, for Trinidad, no. For St. Kitts, yes, because you have to take advantage of your home court advantage. And, with them losing, the match is so dead. You have to give the people of St. Kitts something to cheer about.
So they need to win tonight then?
They need to win. I feel sorry for the fans that come out and, the match is just dead. They're just being obliterated.
They have some big they really have some big crowds in St. Kitts.
Yeah.
Mr. Casanova asking, who are the top West Indies bowlers for this year? He's picking Motti, O'Shane, Bongsa Thomas, Joseph Older, and Chase. So that's Mr. Casanova. I know that you guys would probably need some time to think about it, but Mr. Casanova putting up his opinion there. What's going wrong with St. Kitts' team? Looks good on paper, but they are crumbling in the field. May it be with the bat or ball or even fielding. In my opinion, I do not think that this St. Kitts and Nevis Patriot team is that strong. I don't think so. I think the batting depends a lot on Lewis and Raudu. As we all said, that Rutherford is not a top league player. What do you think? Is this team?
Yeah, I share the same sentiment, Carlton. I think, and Raidu is a player, I think that he's over the hill also. We have seen the best of Raidu. He's pretty much retired in his domestic league. He's a retired cricketer who's just coming here to, just to probably earn some money. And but I don't think that it's heavily dependent on Evan Lewis. And if Evan Lewis doesn't do it, and Fletcher to an extent, right? If Fletcher plays well, I think both Fletcher and Lewis have to play pretty well in order for them to get positive results. But that middle order is very, very brittle. And, it's all dependent on Fletcher and Lewis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bobby?
So, when you have the Drake coming at 6 and 7, no disrespect to Drake, but I think you're asking for problems. They need another batter in the middle order, the lower middle order, So if Lewis and Fletcher fails, but it's too heavily dependent on those two guys.
Yeah, Dennis Weeks is agreeing with us that Rutherford only makes these runs in the lower tier leagues and his game has not moved forward. So Dennis Weeks, thank you for your comment. He's agreeing with us. And Mr. Casanova is also agreeing that Pakistan is now the pace factory, and have taken over from, well, he's saying along with Australia and South Africa, they are the pace factory. Evan is not a very good captain, Anthony Evans is saying, just like we are saying here. And Colin Coolidge is saying, he's saying that he thinks that Kevlin Anderson should come in for Chanda Paul Emraj. Kevin Sinclair will play in Trinidad. I still think that Kevin Sinclair is far more attacking and will give more than Kevin Anderson. But then we have to respect Colin Coolidge's opinion. And so he voiced his opinion. I have no issues with his opinion. Would you
What
prefer
about
to
Carlton? What about moving Shea Hope to open? If you're not gonna play Hemraj, what about playing Shea Hope as an opener and put Sinclair somewhere in the middle?
That's also another opinion. That's also something that could be considered. But Shea Hope doesn't necessarily want to open door. Bobby, what do you think about Kevlin Anderson or Sinclair? Which one would you go with?
I would go with Sinclair. I would put Azam Khan to open, maybe Shea Hope at third, and put Sinclair somewhere, maybe six, somewhere in there.
Yeah, those are very good views, different opinions, and that is what makes this community dynamic. So John Douglas is agreeing that the captaincy of Evan Lewis is questionable. And so from the start, if they say Trinidad only good on paper, I think they will be out of this tournament early. Now the match is expected to start in just about half an hour. And at any moment now, the toss will be spinning. They will be spinning the toss. Looking at this match, I think the winner is easy to pick. However, whoever won the toss, they should ask the other team to bat first. I would bat second in this match. Looking at this Jamaica Tallawahs batting lineup, it depends too much on Brandon King. Mr. Casanova said that Alex Ayles is here. If Alex Ayles is here, that would put a different dynamics into it. But I'm making these comments not knowing whether Ayles is here or not. And I think the batting depends too much on one man. The middle is brittle. From 4, 5, and 6, well, 3, 4, 5, and 6, their strike rate in international cricket is just about 100 or below. The Guyana batting lineup is very strong, and they have a good bowling lineup. I do not see this match as a very close match. To tell you the truth, I think the Guyana Amazon Warriors are going to win and win comfortable, especially if Brandon King doesn't make any runs. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, gentlemen. It has been a pleasure having you this morning, and I look forward to having you again in the future. Have a great day now. And while I expect Guyana Amazon Warriors to win comfortable, I hope the Tallawahs will win. Good morning.